And to be honest, I don't know what's with this horizontal aiming drive, but it's so dang easy to knock out. I really have no idea why. So we have a Churchill that has a good armor but weak gun. Then there's a Churchill with strong armor but subpar cannon. Then now we have this. This is a strong gun but a weak ass armor. Like, why can't we have the best of all worlds, man? Come on. Hey guys, it's Jim here. Then welcome back to War Thunder. And today we are playing a tank that I haven't taken out for a very long time. And for a good reason. You see, between this time and the last time I played it, there has been a change in battle rating for this vehicle. It went from 4.0 to 4.3, which honestly, having played this thing enough, that's really not a necessary change. Like, I don't think it really deserves to go up to 4.3. Now let me break it down to you and I will show you why. Now first things first, armor. You have 89mm armor right here, 89mm up here. Yeah, your upper front plate is basically 89mm of armor. And you might be thinking, the KV-1 armor has only 75mm. So why do I think that this thing don't deserve to go up to 4.3? Well, here's the thing though. You don't have any slope whatsoever in terms of design, so yeah, a lot of guns can punch through this, especially if you don't angle. You show your full front and the enemy like this. They can easily punch through this, and that's an easy center mass shot right there. And then moving down, you have this 38mm slope at 63 degrees. I mean, I get it, it's a pretty wide angle, but here's the thing though. A lot of guns at close range, or even, you know, T-34, APHG, BC, they can easily punch through this. So this is something you need to be careful of. And then going even lower, 3 inches right here. That has almost no angle whatsoever. I mean, if I can punch through this with a Sherman 75 at 500 meters, you know there's something wrong with the Churchill armor. So the armor is actually kind of weak if you face it from the front like this. So what do? You angle your tank. Basically play this thing like the Tiger. Angle it so that your upper front plate, lower front plate will be has a bit of an effective thickness in terms of impact angle. Just be a bit careful that they can still punch through this at close range. Then now moving on to the sides, you have 63mm right here. That's not very protective if you throw a full broadside like this, but then again, when it comes to any tank in general, enemy gets onto your side, you're basically dead. But the good news is that at this battle rating, when you angle, they are not going through this anytime soon, even German 75mm. As well as this, another 3-inch plate, which you need to be careful not to shoot the hedge right here. And then another spot you need to be careful of, especially if you're facing Soviet tanks, is this. And no, it's not because 20mm, because you see, it's 20mm sitting on top of a 38mm plate right here. And yeah, that's actually your hull right there. I was wondering why was I able to penetrate this with my KV-1's this, if you guys remember that video. Yeah, that's the answer. It's only 50mm down here. Then moving on to the rear, you have 50mm sitting underneath another 50mm plate right here. So 100mm right here, if you angle, not a lot of guns can go through this. In the event that he did, the transmission, engine and radiator will pretty much eat everything. And now moving up, the turret armor. 89mm of armor right here, just like the upper front plate. The problem is that, again, it doesn't have any angles. So yeah, a lot of guns can definitely punch through this. And if you're wondering, no, it doesn't have the double layered armor that most Sherman tanks have. As you can see, the gun mallet right here is only covering a small area with 89mm of armor. So yeah, it's easy to punch through this, it's easy to punch through this. Unless of course you're like me, I'm talking about this thing's armor, The next thing you know, people are gonna shoot around here. I really have no idea why people keep shooting me in the worst spot possible. Then moving on to the sights, 89.9mm right here. That does work extremely well if you angle. So yeah, pretty much like your hull. What you can do is angle your tank towards the enemy, and then when you're like reloading and stuff, you can just point your gun forward where your hull is pointing. Just be careful about one thing though. You have this corner right here. It's a bit of a hard shot to make, but as you can see, your impact angle will be very little in degrees. So yeah, that's something you need to be careful of when you're facing enemy tanks. And then moving on to the rear, you have 3 inches plate right here that has a 7mm box sitting on top of it, making it around 80mm or so. Now another spot to be careful of is this. You only have 3 inches right here. There is no angle whatsoever, and if you angle your tank, then you can easily punch through this no problem. And that's 3 out of 5 crewmen right there. And for some strange reason, your horizontal aiming drive is very easy to knock out. I really have no idea why. As well as if you're facing Soviet APHE BC, they can shoot this. That's not the worst part about the Churchill though. For a tank that has a lot of armor in most directions, you have a really weak horsepower engine for it. You only have 350 horsepower, so that means you're not achieving 28 kilometers per hour anytime soon, on road, off road. And now moving on, the firepower, which is the selling point on this vehicle. This is a 57mm 6-pounder Mark V cannon. And to put it simply, this is something like the Cromwell Mark I, 57mm with a little bit of difference. So like the Cromwell Mark I, this is what we'll be firing. Short Mark 9, armor-piercing cap ballistic cap shell, that pans up to 132mm of armor. Which actually pans a little bit more than the Cromwell Mark I. As I mentioned, it's a little bit different. And here's the good news, that 10mm does actually make a difference, especially when you're facing T-34s and KV tanks. Just be careful about two things though. One, you don't have explosive mass, so that means you have to shoot for crewmen. And the second problem is, why do British guns deviate so much? I seriously have no idea. And now you do have a machine gun right here, 792 Besa machine gun. But the thing is that one is that it's at the mercy of the turret rotation, as well as it has a pretty slow rate of fire. So in the event that you come across a open top vehicle that you can't kill with a machine gun that easily, I suggest you bring at least 5 high explosives. Now you might be wondering, didn't I used to say that 75mm caliber is the smallest caliber for this? Well, that is the safe caliber, I would say. In reality, this one does overpressure open top vehicles, but the reason why I'd say maybe not is because it's a 50-50 kind of situation. So if you're using this on open top vehicles, yeah, use it at your own risk. And now moving on, other aspects of the gun, you can carry up to 85 rounds of ammunition, which if I'll be honest, just bring as many as you need. For me personally, I just bring 40 AP shells. Not like it really gonna matter anyway. If they do come to your sides and penetrate this, it's, yeah. Reloading rate 4.5 seconds. Now granted, I am running expert crew on with high level weapon reloading and leadership points, but the good news is that even without any points in your crewman, your reloading is only as low as 5 seconds or 5.4 seconds. So yeah, one of the fastest guns you can have in this battle rating, which is good because you fire at least 2 shells just to take out one tank. Vertical guidance, negative 12 gun depression. This is something you need to be careful of. When it says negative 12 gun depression, by that it means when you're pointing the gun forward or directly over the broadside, and that's about it. If you point the gun over the tracks or over the rear of the tank, your negative 12 gun depression becomes negative 6 or something, negative 6, negative 7. Yeah, that is a significant drop if I do say so. Targeting speed 20 degrees a second. For a very heavy turret, that's actually pretty fast. And then finally, gun stabilizer vertical. Just be careful about one thing though, I did mention that this thing's a bit slow, but unfortunately that gun stabilizer is only effective around 10-12 kilometers an hour, which unfortunately this will go above that speed, unlike the American gun stabilizer which goes up to like 15, 16 kilometers an hour or so. This is something you need to be careful of. And so there you have it. Is this thing actually worth going up to 4.3? No. Is this thing okay where it is at 4.0? The answer is yes. This is not really that OP, neither is this thing too weak, but the thing is, for a heavy tank, you don't exactly have a really good armor in this thing. Like, almost everything you come across can easily kill you. Alright, that's all I gotta say about the Churchill Mark III. Now let's get into battle, and hopefully my teammates can, not take my kills. Get the shit out of here, man. Done. Get out of here. Get the shit out of here, dude. Please do that.
Attention to the map. Roger that. Affirmative. On target.
Come on, stop deviating. Give me the turret. Thank you.
Just a little more effort, and victory will surely be ours. Enemy forces have captured that zone.
Get out of here, buddy.
Attention to the designated checkpoint!
There is anything. Get to cover, buddy. God damn it, I can't see. Oh my lord.
Attention to the map. Thank you very much. Awesome. Well done.
Yeah, you've already dropped your bomb too. Oh, never mind.
Defend the B point.
Thank you, extra penetration.
Allied forces have captured the zone. Excellent. Into the map. We're ahead of the enemy.
Why? 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 Back up! Back up! Away from me! Piss off! Oh my god, I'm going to die because of you! You piece of shit! Get away from me!
Just a little more effort, and victory will surely be ours. Defend the B point! Well done! Attack the D point! Just keep it up, and victory will be ours. Forever, see?
I want to learn Bomber's movement, not you, Yakto.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Awesome!
Get that out of here, buddy.
Victory is near.
We meet again, jackass. I got his radiator shooting his turret.